It's Mike Dixon, and we're going to talk about part 2 series of ball control. And in this part, we're actually going to do a little bit more of a drill, just controlling the club face. What I find a lot of times with most people is, number one, their grip is off. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But also, when the club's moving, the club face is really important, right? So it's not just what's at address, it's actually when it's in motion. So we're just going to go through a couple checkpoints just to make sure that when you go through your golf swing, you're going to know where the club relatively should be. Again, there's no perfect. Sometimes it might be a little more closed, a little more open for other people. But again, what I'm looking for as an instructor, again, I got my practice rods down. Again, always looking at trying to work on training my swing, but also training my eye for my alignment. So when I go through and I look at someone's golf swing, I'm always checking their grip. I'm going to check where the club face is at address. But when it starts to move is going to be really important too. And what I find a lot of times is the club gets out of position. So the shaft's out of position, but also the face and the head, right? So we got 3 components that we're trying to control here. So when we usually see the club kind of get off plane, right? So now the shaft's not parallel to the shafts, the rods on the ground, is the toe kind of starts working up. And you can see here I got like a little aimer on the face. What we want to try to see is, I always want to try to get the player to feel like your hands are kind of beating the club head to your pocket. If the pocket right here, my right pocket's the finish line, I want my hands to get there first. I don't want the club head to get there first. Again, usually that's going to end up being a flatter swing. It can affect our pivot, which is going to be really important. Making sure I'm making a good turn. But when I come back here, I want to make sure that the club, the leading edge, is matching my spine angle. Okay? So again, so here, we don't want the toe up. It's going to be open. Unless we're in a pitch shot, that's going to be completely different. But what I find most of the time is the club is open and it's off plane and under the plane, right? Now I'm referencing my right elbow plane. So when I go through and I come back, I want to try to keep that club head outside my hands, right? So like if I drew a line, when I look down at it, it looks like the club head is way out, but it's not going that way. That would be the club head going out. That would be the club head going in. This is the club head just going back. So I want the club head to go back. And again, I'm going to use my wrist to get the club to go up. I'm not going to get it with my arms. Again, that's going to get me separated. So I want to go, my checkpoint is about waist high. Club face is going to be slightly angled. And then when I come through, again, like I always like to do rehearsals where I'm aware of what's going on with the club face. So if I go into my practice swing, I want to go back here. I'm going to swing down. And again, I want to try to get into a body position that's going to be good for impact. So I don't want to be just like this, right? Like I want to get it where I'm going to be striking the ball. My right leg is trying to drive in, right? I'm pushing off my back foot. My left leg is trying to straighten. And my hands are going to have a little bit of lean. Don't have to do this, right? So we call that impact fix. I'm fixing for my impact position. And how I would do that is I want to just turn my hips. I'm not pushing my hands forward. My arms are getting pulled because my torso and my hips are turning. So again, so that's a really great drill if you have like a block on the range, or you can go up to a back stand, or even if you're in the house and you go up to the foot of the couch and kind of just put the club right up against the thing and just push it forward. Again, we're trying to prep for impact. Again, so the club face is square, but what I want to do is I want to go through, I'm checking the club face here, and I'm checking the club face here. Again, I don't need the toe to be pointing at 9 o'clock and going way left. I'm going to probably hook it. That would be over rolling our hands. That'd be excessive roll. So what I want to try to make sure is when I'm coming through, my hands don't really feel like they do that much. I want my body to be transporting the club and my arms through. Eventually my arms will pass my body again, because like my body doesn't keep turning all the way around. I'm going to stop and my arms will eventually, after about the follow through, is where the arms overtake the swing. So again, Jack Nicklaus said, the arms and the club get a free ride to the golf ball. So up to the top, checking to make sure I'm square. Again, you can see where the club looks like it's outside my hands versus here. Keeping the club outside my hands, up onto the top. And now when I come back down, it's going to be behind me. Most of the time I see behind and over, right? So we reverse it. So again, so what my drill is going to be is I'm just going to go waist to waist, and all I'm trying to do is trying to get like a nice little, really crisp contact, small little draw. But again, like I'm looking at when I make my practice swing, where's the club striking? I want to make sure that I'm making good contact with the ground, right? Again, we got to go through, we got to plan what we want to do, we got to act on it, then we got to review it. We're really bad at planning and reviewing, right? We just act most of the time on the driving range. We just hit ball, ball, ball. We don't really think about what we're doing. It should take you a minute or two to go through one ball. So I'm going through my routine, I'm going through, and again, like I'm checking my hands, right? I'm not doing this, I'm not doing this. So I'm coming back. Again, like right now, my hands look like they're beside my foot, and my club looks like it's way out in front of me. So I'm just going to go back through, and this is about all I'm doing. I'm just going waist to waist. I'm not making a really big swing. And all I'm looking for is just a little baby draw. Again, the ball's going to come out pretty low because I'm not making a really that much wrist action. I'm not getting my wrist cocked. And all I'm trying to do is, again, like if I can't control the golf ball on a waist-to-waist shot, how do I have a chance to do that in the full swing? So, again, I just want to go through, rehearse, going to here. You can kind of see, like I kind of feel like it has like a little bit of a loop there, and club's kind of dropping down underneath that elbow plane. And all I see, like this to me, that ball looks like it's probably drawing like 2 feet. Low trajectory out about that tree, the height of the trees out there in the distance. And all I'm trying to do is just make sure that if I go through, again, I'm going to rehearse and I'm striking. Now, so again, our divot's going to be really important. So if this rod's marking where my golf ball is, I don't want to go through and hit back here in my practice swing, right? I want to rehearse it correctly. So I want to make sure that I'm striking the ground way out in front. Why is that really important? The lowest point of your golf swing is off of our left shoulder, right? So we call that low point, really sophisticated stuff. Homer Kelly, you know, he tried to make it really complicated. Just going back and just making sure I'm making good contact. We got to strike the ground, right? Maybe not with the driver, but with everything else, or a putter. But I'm going through, rehearsing that. So I want to make sure when I go through and I hit, I'm kind of saying down through the shot number one. I don't want to be anxious to see the ball. But I want to make sure where I'm striking the ground. Again, so when I review, I'm like, okay, ball flight was good, had a little bit of curve. My contact with the ground was pretty good. I've struck the ball, then into the ground, maybe a little bit of a divot, like a little pinch, nothing crazy. My footwork felt good. What I'm trying to get away from is here and here, right? So club usually gets inside, we kind of work back and we kind of fall back. So again, simple drill, just to recap, what we got to do. Again, I always like to set up my practice station with my alignment rods, training my eyes along with my mechanics on my swing. I'm going to take my rehearsal, be very diligent with it. Again, it's a rehearsal, it's not just a practice swing. I'm just making sure the club face is square, again, my hands are in a good position, and I'm trying to get it where I'm striking that ground just out in front of the golf ball. When I feel pretty good about it, I'm going to go in, my target. Again, try to stay centered. Again, so that ball has a little bit of curve. So really simple. I like it where if you start this drill, is actually be great to do it with the wedge. This would be the first thing that I like to have people do when they get to the range, whether they're playing or they're practicing. And it would look just the same. It's not going to change anything. Ball position might change, distance from the ball might change, but all I'm doing is I'm just going through, making a very basic stroke. Ball's only going like probably 30 yards. Might be a nice little shot to have in the bag for when you get on the golf course. But again, I'm going back. The club face is on, matching the angle to my spine, and I'm making good contact with the ground. And again, good trajectory, and the ball has a little bit of curve. Those are our key things. So we want good contact with the ball, right? Again, hitting the center of the face. Make sure you go through and you review that. Don't just go through and just start hitting golf balls. Right? Take your time, think about it. Again, you gotta really try to put together the technique, what you're trying to do, and the motion you're trying to create, and what that feels like to you. Okay? So you're just gonna go through waist to waist swings. Hopefully that helps you out. please leave comments. If you have anything that you want to hear about or have questions on in your golf swing, feel free to email me, leave a comment. Please subscribe. Would love to hear anything you guys have to say. Again, here to help you guys get better at golf. Thanks again, and see you guys next time.